I love a buttered biscuit.
Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well this evening. Oh, just getting all prepared for a nice stream that's going to be happening a little bit later on. We're going to be over on MG Laws tonight, so that's it's going to be exciting. I had this little stream that I put together early on today. I was hesitant about setting it up because I wasn't sure what time we were going to be starting tonight. Samsonite Sarah, yes, JW. Hey y'all, how's it going? Well, so since Sarah has become a pro se defendant in her own case, well, some new stuff came out. It was probably about 4 days ago, and when this came out, I totally missed over it because there was so much other stuff that was going on. Like, she really doesn't matter that much. She doesn't matter as much as she thinks she matters. I mean, her story is interesting because she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but outside of that, nobody really gives two damns about what she's doing or what she has to say, other than just, take the damn plea. Whatever. I mean, did the guy go in the suitcase? Did he die while he was in the suitcase? Did you neglect to take care of him because you were inebriated? Whatever it might be. It doesn't make you look good. I mean, most likely it'll just end up being time served. Probably get some book deals or something like that, but she's getting 3 squares and a place to sleep and maybe a little bit of side sex. You never know. I mean, I don't know what goes on in prison. I've never been there. I hear it's a fun time. If you like having your rights taken away from you, though, I mean, that's what I hear. Hey, how's it going, Roxanne? Good to see you, Miss McClellan. Well, the audio has been enhanced on this quite a bit, so if it's a little too loud, I'll bring it down. But this is her latest hearing, so just give a listen and we'll see what happens. Seems a little loud.
Mr. Cacciatore.
Dave Cacciatore on behalf of the state.
Ms. Boone, good morning. Could you please raise your right hand so Madam Clerk can swear you in?
Yes.
Ma'am, good morning. Could you state your name and date of birth for the record for me?
Sarah Boone, 101077.
We also have a representative from Prison Break Investigations. Sir, if you could come forward, please.
No neck tattoos yet, at least.
If you could, sir, raise your right hand. Madam Clerk's going to go ahead and swear you in. All right, sir, good morning. Could you state your name for the record?
Billy Lane.
And Mr. Lane, what's your affiliation with Prison Break Investigations?
I'm the owner and chief investigator.
Oh, okay, very good. The reason the court had this hearing this morning is the court has found that Ms. Boone has forfeited her right to counsel and waived her right to counsel alternatively by virtue of her conduct in this case. As such,
well, and this right here is very important. Her dropping that bombshell like she did. Basically, the judge dropped this bombshell on her and said, "Hey, if you keep up your shenanigans, you're gonna end up being pro se because you've become difficult and annoying to anybody that's tried to help you out. You've not been helping yourself out, and you act like you know more than everybody else. You're wanting to argue things that they can't argue. You're to the verge of nobody wants to work with you or around you or be anywhere near you. And the thing is you don't have to. It is not a. Whenever you have somebody that gets that damn difficult, which she has obviously done, as you'll see by her questions in this hearing, that nobody wants to be around you, and they'll say, "Well, have a good one. I mean, you got this. You think you know more? Well, then you can have it."
Such, Ms. Boone is currently representing herself.
Yep.
The court has been working diligently to provide you the discovery. I received your letter, ma'am, and I have reviewed it. We have not forgotten about you. It's just
So yeah, he's talking about the letter that was received earlier on. She has since written another letter. She says that she's written some motions. At the time this happened 4 days ago, those had not arrived, so there may be some more motions coming in. I did check today, and I didn't see any new motions that had come in, but she's supposed to be having some new motions that are coming in. Hey, Zach, how you doing? Good to see you.
taken some time in order to coordinate the appropriate processes with the jail. In conversations with the jail, a laptop has been secured and will be issued to you after USB drives are provided with all the discovery.
So what he's saying is they've secured her a laptop that she'll be able to use. And they're going to go into some details about how that laptop is to be treated, that she won't keep the power charging cable or anything like that. Hey, Kyle Joseph, good to see you. Good evening, John. Good evening. Good evening. So to proceed with this, hey, Baker, Zach has a wrench in this bizarro world. How you doing, Baker? Well, you have one too. How you doing, brother? But yes, she's got they've made some stipulations around her having this laptop, and the judge is going to go into it a little bit more. Like I said, this isn't a very long piece, but it gives a lot of information about the judge not dealing with her shit.
Upon the jail's receipt of those items, the following provisions will be adhered to. The laptop, charging cable, and USB devices will be kept in the FDC main control room when not in use.
There you go.
At no time will the charging cord be placed in the housing unit. Upon the return of the laptop to the FDC main control, the laptop will be placed on the charging cable to ensure it is available for the next day's usage. The laptop and USB device is to be accounted for with the control room inventory. The control room DST or CO will make logbook entries for the issuing and returning the USB device and laptop. The dorm officer will make logbook entries for the receiving and returning of these items to the applicable movement officer. A notebook entry will be completed in IMS for every.
Well, that's actually a really good thing that they're keeping a log of it. So she comes back and says, I didn't have access to the computer. They can say, listen, you were at the computer for X amount of hours this day, X amount of hours this day, X amount of hours this day. You had plenty of opportunities to review all of this case information. And you're saying that you need more time. They basically have it logged. So that's pretty damn smart of this judge. He's not fooling around with her at all. I don't blame him. I wouldn't be either after the shenanigans she's been pulling.
Issuance of the laptop and USB device to inmate Boone. The laptop and USB device will be available daily to you, Ms. Boone, between 0800 and 1600 hours. A notebook entry will be completed in IMS.
In case you're wondering, that's 8 o'clock in the morning. That'd be 4 o'clock in the evening. Yeah. So from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock, that laptop is she's able to access it. Now, if I had that much time and all I had to do was do research and read through all this documentation, we're talking about 2 banker's boxes full of documentation to present some sort of case, then I think that she should be able to do it. But I don't think she's going to complain that she couldn't. Puddletown, you could also fix up a 74 Pinto. But why? But why not? Why not? You get a nice big block in that thing, and that thing will scream. I heard her roommate is scared Sarah is carving a suitcase handle in her spare time. Jesus. Well, I just read a bit up on her. She's a real winner. Oh, yes, Starzy. She is a real winner. Good to see you over on the X side. Good to see you over on the X side. Wonderful, wonderful. It's good that people are checking that out over there. That helps out quite a bit. Thank you very much.
For every issuance of the laptop and USB device to yourself, Ms. Boone. The discovery was provided at the court previously and is in the 2 banker's boxes that are in front of the court to your left, Mr. Lane. I'm going to order you, sir, to take possession and custody of that discovery that was provided to the court previously on June 28, 2024. You, through Prison Break Investigations, shall copy all of the discovery onto as many USB dump drives as necessary.
Which, depending on how many of that. So what this guy's being tasked with is from Prison Break. He is being tasked with taking every single one of those documents, scanning them in, putting them over on a jump drive. Okay, on basically a little USB drive. Shit, I think I have like one around here somewhere. Yeah, like a little USB drive like this, be fine. Or you can get a larger one. I have another one that's like a 16 terabyte, something like that. So basically, scanning those in, copying them on into probably a PDF format. The laptop will have a Adobe PDF reader. Now, if you don't know enough about Adobe's, you can actually bookmark things. You can bait stamp them, whatever you need to do. You can do all of that in Adobe. I don't know if she'll have a good version of Adobe, but that's what I use whenever I'm uploading court documents. Also, that way I can see what the file size is, because court documents, in certain cases, you can only have such a large and a certain number of data sets in there. Like they might say it's too large, in which case I usually will just scan documents in that I need to upload instead of loading them up in PDF format from Word. Maybe if you cut me up, I'm 6'2". I don't fit in a suitcase, so I'm neither do I. Don't trust me. That's going to be a hard time. Even at 6'2", that'd be a hard time. I didn't say how. Didn't say how many suitcases.
The Judicial Administration Commission for the state of Florida shall be responsible for the fees and costs due to Prison Break Investigations
So he's
for
getting
copying
paid.
all of the discovery onto as many USB jump drives as necessary.
Which that could include video. That could include just any document that was found in discovery. Gluten Noggin. That's awesome. That's awesome.
You will appear for a hearing with the court on August 1st, 2024 at 8:45 in courtroom 12A of the Orange County Courthouse with the discovery and all USB jump drives containing the discovery. A representative.
Now this isn't going to happen. It's not going to happen on August 1st. The reason that's not going to happen on August 1st is because he is going to be out of town, if I'm not mistaken. He's got a wedding, his son's wedding or something like that. So he's not going to be there. But they rescheduled it for the 5th.
Representative from the Orange County Jail shall also appear for that hearing as well. At that point in time, Prison Break Investigation shall hand deliver all USB jump drives containing the discovery to the representative from the Orange County Jail in order to be placed onto the laptop that is currently secured and to be issued to the defendant for all trial and court preparation. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
I have a conflict for August 1st, Your Honor. I'm
Okay.
going to be out of state from Tuesday until Friday of next week, which I believe will be conference August 1st.
Sorry, the
before
audio's
my
a
son-
little funky
Okay,
here, but it
well,
clears up better.
congratulations. When do you return from your son's wedding, sir?
I will be back late Friday evening, so I'll be available the following week.
Okay. Will you be able to complete that task by that time?
I'll do my best.
Okay, sir. We will see you on
Try my
Monday.
best. No, should have said
Give me a
yes.
second. Monday, August 5 at 8:45. Okay, you'll be
Well,
given a copy of the order that I.
And he should have said yes. I can have that completed by then. There'd be no reason why he couldn't, unless he's just slacking. I mean, 2 bankers boxes full of documents. Yeah, it would take me all day to upload those into, scan them all in. But because most of them, they might be stapled together. The longest amount of time is me just removing the staples. Other than that, I just put it on the scanner and scan it all in. Yeah, it would be quick as all get out. Now the other documents that might take a little while, like if you have audio and video and stuff like that, that'll take a little bit of while to get in there. But we're talking about today's the 29th, August 1st. Yeah, you should be able to have it done by the 5th. Sarah Boone here for Samsonite. Hey Roy, how you doing? That's funny. That's funny. Oof.
that I just read from. Ms. Boone, you'll also be given a copy of the order. Do you have any questions for me?
I am thoroughly confused. Was the notice ever put online for this or mailed to anyone? I don't even.
Well, and as she's bitching about as she's raising this concern, was there ever a notice? She thinks that she needs to have notice served. It's just like, no, because they found out the day before, and because of where she's at, they can't just call her and they can't just send out notice, because then it takes 30 days for them to get her in there. By then, she's wasted another 30 days. They're doing this expediently for her. Specifically, that's why they called her down, brought her down to the courthouse so they could have this hearing. And that makes it easier because they know where to find her. They don't have to worry about giving her notice. They can just bring her down to the jail, from the jail to the courthouse, and sit down and have a hearing just like this. She doesn't have to do anything to prepare, because he's telling her what his order already is as far as getting these documents to her. She already knew this stuff was going to happen. They just needed to make sure they knew what time, what day it was going to happen. And I guarantee you that they will move as quickly as they possibly do. Nothing more than that.
I don't even know why Mr. Lane is here. I don't know why I'm here.
Well, ma'am,
you just found out there, sweet cheeks. You found, because you're getting these documents that you've been screaming and crying about. The one you're writing all the letters about, why you can't get any documents. Well, here you go. Here's your opportunity.
are now representing yourself, and previously who had requested to appear at every hearing that was held. As you are now representing yourself, the court cannot have any hearings regarding your case without you being here.
Yep.
I put on the record and explained to you the process that the court has had with communications with the jail. Yes. I'm not allowed to look at any of that. I'm not allowed to copy any of that. So in speaking with the jail and understanding that you still have a private investigator that was provided to you through the state, that's being compensated by the state, you're still allowed to utilize his services. The protections of the attorney-client privilege are still applicable to him. So he's able to review any of these documents, ensure that they are safely copied without violating any terms of the privileges.
Yes.
Those will then be placed on multiple USB drives and provided to you. Those USB drives will then be uploaded to a computer that has been secured for you at the jail for you to access all of that information.
And everything that he just explained what the hearing was for, now he's having to tell her again. This is a very patient judge, and that he's explained it to her not once, but twice it's been explained to her. Every single thing that he talks to her about for the next 13 minutes has already been talked about. All of it's been explained. And she's just going to continue with her shenanigans. She sent me a message on Discord with I'll have to check that one out. Let's see what we got here. Oh, yes, the American Tourister. Yeah, the commercial. Yeah, that'll get me in trouble. That one is hilarious. I'm just picturing her with that. Oh, I love it. Yeah, I remember the Samsonite commercials. I remember the Samsonite commercials back in the, what is it, 70s, 80s? Yeah, I remember those. Those were around for a while. Those are damn funny.
Okay. My question is, was a notice of hearing posted or mailed to anyone to where apparently the news crews obviously got it?
Does not have to. It does not have to. If she thinks the news crew is here just for her, no. The news crew is not there just for her. The news crew is there for anybody that's coming into the courthouse. She just happens to be the high profile, and someone's like, "Hey, she's here right now. Let's get someone there." And they probably have someone. Yeah, JWHAI her face. Oh my God, that would be hilarious. Yeah, that would be DJ Radish could do that one. Oh man.
How is it that I do not know anything about this other than my bunk being kicked at 3 o'clock?
That's all the notice you need because, hey, how's it going, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights? Good to see you. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. So the judge already said that he was going to have a hearing as soon as this happened. And he's going to explain to her, Sweet Cheeks, I'm doing it. I'm doing some ad lib here. He's going to say, hey, Sweet Cheeks, listen, it's not like you're an attorney and I can call you to let you know that we have your documents. Okay. I can't just I can't have my clerk reach out and send them to you. I can't do that because you are incarcerated for the deletion of someone. Okay. So high profile, those bags didn't fit in the overhead compartment. Ha 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 ha. Damn, Roy. That's a good one. Them bags didn't fit in that there overhead compartment. I mean, he could have, but he didn't. No, this was a courtesy for her. This was a big courtesy for her, and she's throwing a hissy fit over, I didn't receive proper notification. Trust me, you received plenty of notification earlier on in the year. Whenever you found out, whenever he basically made it where you're going pro se. But her bitching and moaning isn't going to stop there, of course.
In the morning telling me I have court.
Ma'am, I have no other way to get in touch with you other than setting the hearing, which was set yesterday once I received confirmation from the jail as to the processes for how this would work.
So, like I said, there's nothing I can do about that. And he'll say, I just can't reach out and call you on the phone. This is the easiest way for us to get this information to you. So there is no delay. We're making sure that you're getting this as quickly as we possibly can get it to you. And this is for you. This is for you. We are doing this expediently for you. That they could come in on short notice speaks a lot. And so far, the judge has not ruled out that they're not going to have this being live streamed. He has not mentioned that was going to happen.
And I understand that your case is important, and I want to move it as efficiently, as diligently as possible. I know that you've been waiting for this information, and it took some time to confirm the process.
Exactly. Need I say more?
With the jail. You've advised me that you have very limited space. You have almost no privacy. You have a small drawer where you can keep some personal effects. We could not send all of those boxes with you to the jail, and the jail advised me that they cannot take all those
I cannot take all the boxes.
But
if you pack it up in a suitcase, she probably wouldn't open it up anyway. Just remember why she's here. If you put it in a suitcase, she wouldn't open it at all. She wouldn't even double check it.
A process had to be created to make sure, and this is the process.
Now, there was some sort of glitch in everything, but it's back up and working.
Process that I was explaining after speaking to a couple of sergeants, and
those are a couple of sergeants in the jail. Those are a couple of sergeants in the jail. Those are not lawyers. They have no say-so over what happens.
I've been waiting for that, and I would much rather prefer a hard copy of these to where I can write on them as opposed to anything that's on a laptop.
I'm
tough. That and this is the way that it goes. I'm aware that you probably want to do this, that, and the other, but you are in jail. You did bad. Okay? You can't post out bond on this. It's not like you can get out of this. So if you want to write on it, get yourself a notepad, write. Commissary is open for you if that's what you so desire to do. But yeah, he's not going to... There's nothing he can do. This is the processes that it has to go through. And if she doesn't like it, tough. And I'm sure this just angers her to no get out.
unable to provide that for you. I have been provided the process
Well, if she saw someone crawl in the suitcase, then she would make sure that they definitely did not get out of there.
has been provided to me by the Orange County Jail. I understand that's your preference, but I can't do anything more than what I've done right now.
I understand. And I have had other information given to me, which is why I've been waiting for the boxes for them. So I don't know, is this something that I need to pursue continuously still for me to be able to receive my hard copies? Because
No, don't stop. Woman, open your ears, clear whatever shit is in your ears. He just explained it to you. You cannot have hard copies. You are not getting hard copies of this. You don't have that luxury. The prison system does not have that luxury. They are not doing this. I understood this the first go around. This is why she's going to be difficult, because the judge is not her attorney. And he's going to say this multiple times throughout this. I am not your attorney. I do not represent you. You represent yourself. This is the process that it's going to happen. We are doing a courtesy by making sure that we get you all of the documentation that you need and the format that is available to us with the limited ability we have of doing this due to the way that the prison system is set up. If you don't like it, tough. Imagine what it would have been like 50 years ago, whenever computers really you didn't have all that. Hell, just 20 years ago. More than likely, you would have had to have those hard copies brought to the jail. Jail does not have room for the hard copies. This is how it's done. Get over it.
because no one tells me anything.
I can't answer.
They don't have to.
I cannot answer that question because that may call for me providing you legal advice, which I am prohibited from doing.
There you go.
Okay. Well, because I have no other way of contacting you other than in a letter, and it's AKA worldwide.
It's AKA worldwide. Well, geez, woman, this is how it goes. It's worldwide. That means that, yes, everybody gets to see what is filed in those court documents. He has not sealed them. He has not sealed those documents because there's no reason to. Even if you made a motion for him to seal everything, it would be his prerogative to say, no, I don't, unless you can provide perfectly good reason why, like it's trying to protect some children or the identity of someone that's been essayed, or for example, then yeah, we could seek to do that. But there's nothing here that needs to be protected at all. This is what happens whenever you leave a guy in a suitcase. You know, you're sort of at the whims of and the mercy of the court.
So am I supposed to go back and speak to the captain and whoever else it is that I might need to speak to in order to receive these?
Again, he has said it. This will be the third time. You cannot have the hard copies. You're not getting the hard copies. I have a feeling that she does not listen very well. She's got, and this is more than likely the same issue that whoever her attorneys were had to deal with. Like, we can't do that. We can't just leave you copies of this because there's no place to store. You can't have this. It sucks to be you, but you're not getting hard copies. If you thought that that's why you were getting rid of your attorneys because you wanted to have hard copies so you could write all over this stuff, make cute little drawings, it's not going to happen. Tough. This is how the process goes. And he's going to explain it to her once again.
Again, I cannot answer that question. All I can tell you is that we will have a hearing on August 5, whereby which Prison Break Investigations will provide all of the information on USB drives. Those will be provided to a representative from the Orange County Jail, who will place all that information on a laptop for you to use, and that's accessible for your use from 0800 to 1600 every day.
Right. Okay, so I guess.
So, again, she's not listening because she's going to ask another question that he's already answered.
And that's accessible for your use from 0800 to 1600 every day.
Right. Okay, so I guess I will figure that out because if I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I can't utilize the laptop, which is another reason why I was looking forward to the hard copies.
If you're up at 2 o'clock in the morning, then write yourself a note on things that you want to look into. Jesus, this is not difficult. See, they have bent over backwards to make sure that she's taken care of, and yet she's not taking care of herself. She has got something wrong up here that she's incapable of listening. She just does not listen to a word that the judge said. Lights out, yeah.
So,
Hey Jen, how you doing? She sounds like someone complaining at an all-inclusive resort that their printer isn't working and not from jail. Yeah, that is absolutely correct. That is how she is going about this. And Jen, if you're available later, I'll give you a talk to if you're able. Hey friend, I'm all right. Happy to be here. Glad you are here. I'm happy to have you here, Jen.
my other question is my time prorated for the time that I've been waiting for my discovery?
No. The court hearing is already set. Okay, that's cool. Just hit me up and let me know whenever you're available. I'll accommodate you. Sounds good. Jen. But what was I going to say? Oh, I got distracted. With Jen's loveliness there. So she's not going to listen.
Which is another reason why I was looking forward to the hard copies.
Tough titty.
So my other question is my time prorated for the time that I've been waiting for my discovery?
No. Here's the thing, sweetheart. You've wasted enough of this court's time. This is what I would tell her, is you've wasted enough time of the court on playing around and giving your attorneys, all 7 of them, over a span of I don't know how many years it's been now. Since 2017 or something like that, 20 whatever. You've been giving your attorneys such a hard time that you're now pro se. You've had plenty of opportunity to go over this stuff. Okay, but you're not going to get an extended stay. He made it very clear to her if she kept up her shenanigans, she would be going pro se. He also made it very clear at the last hearing, which if I need to, I can pull that up. The last hearing, he said, listen, there's no more delays on this. This is the date that the trial is set for. Outside of something extenuating where the attorney on the other side says, listen, I can't make it because, there was a death in the family or they pass away, for example. Or if she gets sick and is not able to make it to court because she's legitimately sick, then maybe the judge will say, well, is she breathing? Well, then she can be here. And we'll assess. We'll actually have a doctor look her over, not because she's complaining of a head cold, but because she honestly can't be here because she's having kidney stones removed or something.
I'm not sure I understand what that means.
Will I be having additional time added, or will it be extended from the time period of me waiting for my discovery still?
No.
I'm not in a position to answer that question. I don't know what it is that you're asking for.
I know what she's asking. She's asking, can I have more time because I didn't have enough time to prepare and because I lost a month of time. Sweetheart, this is the price. This is what he warned you about in the first place. He said, if you go pro se, it's going to become more difficult on you than if you have an attorney. Because an attorney would be able to make any sort of motions. He would be able to move this thing forward. You have been the cause of all of these delays.
My pretrial is supposedly set for September 24th, I believe it is. So obviously I will not be prepared.
That is a you problem, not a court's problem. You not being prepared is a you problem, sweetheart. You've had plenty of time to prepare, and this is on you. Well, when you move from a suitcase to a cell, it might feel like a resort. Wait, that would apply to George. Poor George. Yeah, I feel bad for George. Her tone of voice reminds you of your mother. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Aaron. I wish I could remember because I love laughing.
And obviously, I do not know what I'm doing. And obviously, I'm still waiting for my discovery. So for that time period that I have been waiting for almost 4 weeks now, will that be added to?
You could have been preparing. In those 4 weeks, you could have been preparing. You could have been preparing a written statement. You could have been preparing your opening remarks. You could have been preparing anything. These are the things that you could have been preparing for. For 4 weeks you've had that you could be preparing. And if you think that 4 weeks is a long time, sweet cheeks, guess what? You've got more than 4 weeks to prepare with that discovery. So if 4 weeks was a lot for you, you've got more than 4 weeks to prepare for your case. And if it's going to take you more than 4 weeks, if you need years to prepare your case, all the depositions have been done, all of the motions have been filed, all of everything has already been done. It is up to you to get your head out of your ass. No, that's actually, I do not believe that's the bailiff. I believe she was with the corrections department. She might be a sheriff, but I believe she's with the corrections department. She's doing everything to delay a life sentence. I don't know if she'll even get a life sentence. I don't think that is even on the table. If I'm not mistaken, there's a minimum she could get if they find even against her where it will almost end up being time served. So for her, it's just a delay, a big delay.
To the time frame in order for me to be properly prepared?
As of right now, the dates are what the dates are, ma'am.
Okay, so I just miss a week. I'm a month.
Yes,
The dates are what the dates are.
exactly.
So I also sent you, I believe, 5 motions. Have you received those?
No, ma'am, I have not.
And those are the motions I'm talking about. I've checked and I haven't seen any motions. I would start preparing the minute I sobered up. Yeah. What is her educational background? She's educated bitch. HR. I think she worked HR. I want to say that she worked in some sort of HR at some point in time. She thinks she's smarter than everybody else in the room, and this is not uncommon for for people like this to believe that they're the smartest one. Why have you? What did YouTube do? You shouldn't be getting any ads, so hope you didn't get any.
The only
Emailed last week.
then I have not received them yet. The last correspondence I got from you, ma'am, was received on July 8th.
Okay. 5 motions I've mailed. They're probably sitting wherever else it is, considering it takes a day.
This sounds like a you problem. Sounds like a you problem.
For you all to receive my mail, considering I'm right down the street from you all. So I have those also in order, which may change whatever information or anything that I'm trying to acquire in between now, the month less that I have in order to prepare for my trial.
That is a you thing. That is a you issue. That is a you issue. So, he told you whenever you started playing your shenanigans, I think it was on lawyer number 4 or 5, that if she continues the way that she's going, that it's going to become more difficult for her to handle this pro se. But she didn't listen. She continued on with her shenanigans. Imagine she is being very, very chill for the camera right now. Imagine what she would be like with an attorney that has to explain things to her. Not once, not twice, but 3 times on every single step, and she questions them on every single step, and they say it's not legal for us to do that. We cannot legally do that. No, we cannot file that motion. No, we cannot do this. No, we cannot do that. That's not how this works. Trust me, whenever an attorney tells you that there is nothing that they can do in this aspect, you need to listen to them, because they've been doing this a hell of a lot longer than you have. HR type crime, they're always shaking people around. Yeah. I don't know. They like to box them up. What can I say?
That's in October. So if you could keep an eye out for those also. I don't know who I'm supposed to ask. How did Mr. Lane come into any of this?
Again, if you were paying attention at the very beginning, whenever he explained what Mr. Lane was once, and now here you are again, asking again, freedom of speech, YouTube, yeah. He explained to you that Mr. Lane was the investigator that was hired for her defense as part of court costs. Court was paying for it. The state was paying for this to do an investigation for you, to get any sort of depositions you need, to get any sort of documentation, get any of that stuff compiled and put together. He is your lead investigator. He is working for you as an investigator. Utilize him as an investigator. If you don't know how to do it, then yeah, this is the maximum of stupidity for this woman.
Like, how was he called?
Mr. Lane has been your investigator in this case, and he was advised to attend this morning's hearing by virtue of being provided the discovery in order to digitize it so that you can have access to it.
The court contacted him?
I did not contact him.
Am I allowed to speak to him directly?
You can.
Mr. Lane, who contacted you in order for you to be here, please?
GA.
Jay.
If I'm pro se and my own attorney,
See, that's not what she wanted to hear. She wanted to hear that the court contacted him. Now she's having a fit about the PI. She wrote about 6 months ago about him not being able to come and see her, even though he was hers. She is having a fit. No, this is someone completely different, and she does not know anything about this. Now she had a defense attorney. That was a while back. Now I don't know about this PI not coming to see her. More than likely, he had no reason to, because although he's part of the investigation, he does not answer to her at that point. He would be answering to her attorney. So if it was 6 months ago, her attorney would have been assigning him to go do certain tasks.
should I not be included in all of this so I know what's going on and not
Sweetheart, you are included. That's why you're sitting here right now, again.
a surprise hearing like it is again for the second time?
Ma'am, again, this is why there were benefits to being represented by counsel. The court has already identified in its 16-page order the reasons for why you no longer have those benefits.
Again, she doesn't listen at all.
Right. Which
It
is
makes
not
things
norm.
exceptionally more difficult, as I explained to you, in communicating with the court and communicating with the state attorney's office.
Isn't that what a certificate of service is for anything that's filed by anybody in the court?
No. No.
There
I
was
should be included in that.
You will be. That's why they brought your sorry ass to the courthouse in the first place. I forgot to tell you, I replaced the camshaft sensor this afternoon. Since my hands are not too strong at 66, you took you 20 minutes to replace. Thanks for the assistance. Oh, no problem, Star Z. I'm glad you were able to replace it. Did it clear the code? I hope it did. If it didn't clear the code, you can always go to a place like Auto Parts Store, and they usually will have they'll usually have a little scan tool that they can clear codes with if it needs to clear. You might also have to do a reset, a learning, depending on what model it is, what make and model. A lot of times the computer has to relearn. So if it doesn't run good to start out with, run it for a while, and it'll the way that it learns is you have to go a certain speed for a certain amount of time. You have to brake. You have to accelerate a certain amount for a certain amount of time. I think it's like a certain amount of RPMs for a certain amount of time. And then you have to ease off, and then you have to travel for another distance for a certain amount of time for it to all relearn it. So I know that on Hondas, there's on some of the older models, there was a learning procedure you had to go through. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Usually I just look it up in our computer system to see what it was. But you should be able to find that out. Like, there should be a learning process for the computer to relearn the camshaft position, because if the other one was failing, it would have given you a code. So if it takes a little while for it to relearn, you have to do that. Codes magically disappeared. Do not know why. Have a code gadget, but we'll look up what you're telling me. Cool. Oh, and it usually just regular driving, like an hour's drive. Usually will take care of it. Just regular driving should do it. What was this? Puddletown? Well, that one too. Everyone abandoned her whiny butt. Yes, everyone did abandon her whiny butt. Why? I can still see it. See what? What can you see? Fine. What? What are you talking about? Still see what? No problem, Starzy.
Ma'am, there was no certificate of service for setting this for today. This was coordinated by the JA. You were advised as soon as it was set. It was set yesterday.
Exactly. That's all the notice you need. This is a courtesy for you. This is them helping you out. So stop bitching.
It's just very odd to me that the news knew about it before I did.
Again,
Everything's odd to you, sweetheart, except for locking a guy in a suitcase and then not letting him out, and getting drunk and passing out and forgetting that you had someone locked in a suitcase. Zach says my comments are being deleted by YouTube, so I'm not chatting. I don't know what's being deleted by YouTube. Let me look and see. I don't know what's being deleted by YouTube. I'll have to see what exactly it is you're talking about. I don't know that YouTube is deleting anything. Now, Zach can be letting stuff through if it's not too offensive. Should be fine. There are certain words that are banned there, but I can always look and see. He could just be messing with you. Zach does like to mess with people. So I can look and see if there's anything that Puddletown's been putting in there has been deleted by YouTube. Let's see. No. I'm not seeing anything. I go back. Everyone says hello. I don't see anything been deleted. Daniel Berry says hi everyone. Oof Roy. What's out? And FU YouTube. I saw that one. No problem. Freedom of speech. Yeah. Everyone abandoned your whiny butt. Yeah, I don't see anything that's been deleted by YouTube. Oh, I always derail. Speaking of derail, we'll be over on MG's tonight. I believe around 10 is what time it's starting. You already approved it. Oh, good. Like I said, there's certain things that will trigger YouTube to kick it back, and that's just YouTube's stuff. I have no control over some of those. And then I do have banned things in there, so it might be hitting those.
and I can't speak to them.
And so nonetheless, my constitutional right to counsel is being forfeited on your behalf in the court. So now I don't get appropriate notice in preparation for me to be able to be here.
He just told you that you were getting proper notification. Stop being a twatwad.
And doing what I'm supposed to be doing and act as and perform as.
I've already addressed the reasons, ma'am, for why there was a forfeiture and alternatively a waiver in the 16-page order that you were provided. Again, it's difficult to communicate with you based on where your current housing is. I'm not able to pick up the phone. The judicial assistant's not able to pick up the phone to communicate with you or send you an email to schedule certain things. And it leaves a little bit of the level of further complication.
How is it the news knows before I do?
Because you're in jail, dumbass. Sorry. You are in jail. This is how it goes whenever you get your ass thrown in jail. There's no big conspiracy out to get you, sir. Ma'am, whatever the hell you are. There's no big conspiracy out to get you. You screwed yourself on this. You've made it difficult for everyone to be around you, and the judge is doing everything that he possibly can. He brought you down to the courthouse to make sure that you were there for this hearing, to make sure that you understood what was going on with your case. Dummy.
You keep asking the same question and the answer is going to be the same. I cannot answer that question for you because I do not know.
There you go.
Okay, but you do know it's harder for me.
I would agree with that, yes.
And you do know that you did not ask me any questions in regards to your order. You just read it straight off and never asked me what's what or how many with any.
What are you babbling about, woman? She's hard-headed like Lynette, yes. She is doing the stupidest thing right now. She's going to say some of the most stupid thing that she possibly can because she's trying to chastise the judge, and the judge is just not going to have any of it. He's very patient with her, and I guess that's what it takes to be a judge, because I am not so kind.
I do not know.
Okay, but you do know it's harder for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you need to shut up after that you say that, because you're pushing the bounds right there.
I would agree with that, yes.
And you do know that you did not ask me any questions.
It is not his responsibility to ask her any questions. He doesn't have to. That's his order. If you don't understand the order, that's your problem. That's a you problem.
In regards to your order, you just read it straight off and never asked me what's what or how many with anything of it.
Ma'am.
What's what or how many of anything, whatever with it. What are you rambling about? My answer is going to be the same.
If you have questions, I can certainly try to answer them. I'm trying to facilitate you getting that information that you're certainly entitled to. And it took time for a process to be created by the Orange County Jail, as they had advised me. They do not have a place to store 2 banker's boxes of information, nor are they in a position to provide you physical copies. This is what I've been advised as the process is. As soon as that process was finalized, I set the hearing. This was finalized yesterday.
No one ever asks me. I've been waiting for the boxes. I really don't know what to say. And because I supposedly have no way to contact you other than a letter, and the same for you, I don't.
That sounds like a statement there, sweetheart. You're stating things that bear no relevance to this whatsoever. Again, the judge has told you multiple times that as soon as this was, if you took this route and you didn't behave with your attorneys that were assigned to you, that you were going to suffer these consequences. It was going to become more difficult for you to handle this on your own. You don't like it. The news is there because, well, why not? Why wouldn't the news be there? You know, this is something that you've done to yourself. You could have gone about this in another way, but you've made this difficult on yourself. If you make this difficult on yourself, this is the kind of shit that's going to happen to you. You dimwit. Let's get back to it.
Don't know how the news crews got here before I did.
Well, that sounds like you problem. Does it matter how they got there before you did? Does it matter that they know more about this case than you do? That's, like I said, this is a you problem. You know, there's an easy way that you could get past all of this you problem and just do what you're supposed to do. You're not smarter than everyone. Once you realize that, your life is going to become much, much, much easier.
But I don't know, going forward, how is it that I'm supposed to be able to communicate with you other than me sitting here in front of you at these, I guess, supposed surprise hearings that I'm going to have?
These are not, that was no surprise. The judge brought her in just like he needed to. Hey, Casper. Sarah Boone is just like Daryl Brooks? No. She's worse than Daryl Brooks. Daryl Brooks would actually listen to what they had to say and ignore it. She doesn't even listen to what they tell her. And this is what happens.
Every single time that it is that you would like to speak to me. Is that what it's going to be?
Ma'am, I cannot answer that question. Yeah. All I can tell you is that you can communicate with the court through the avenues that you've been utilizing previously, by and through letter writing. As I said, I do not have your letters that you sent last week. They're not in the court file, and they were not in my inbox yesterday. So as soon as I receive them, I will diligently review them. And if we have to set a hearing, you'll be properly noticed for it.
That's right.
And the certificate of service.
You'll be properly noticed for it. Yes, ma'am.
And will there be a proper notice for today?
Oh, Jesus, woman. See, this is the attitude right there. They blocked that one too. Crazy. I'm not messing with you. What? They blocked what from Roxanne? I don't know what they would have blocked from Roxanne. Roxanne's the chillest. I don't know what they would have blocked. I'm looking and I don't see anything being blocked there. I don't see anything being blocked by her. What are you talking about, Zach? But held for review, which means that they aren't shown until Ahmad approves them. Hey, Terry Ham. I think they're on edge since the Trump thing. Oh, they're probably on edge with me anyway, because I've marked a lot of my stuff as inappropriate and things like that. Yeah, held for review is standard for YouTube.
Notice was performed last night. I've already explained.
The news crews how they got here.
No, ma'am, I'm not going to let you do that. They're not
there you
under
go.
oath. They're not a party to this action right now.
There you go.
It's wrong and it's unfair.
You
said that, but they're not a party to this action. You have no privacy anymore, sweetheart. You put yourself in this position. Excellent, excellent. I'm glad you are, Zach. Keep approving them unless it's something that's really egregious, which I don't see any of that happening. No, this is something that she's going to be doing. She's going to be going through this. It's not fair. It's not appropriate. It hurts me. How does it hurt you? How does it hurt you one way or the other? She thinks that she's become important or something. She's really not that important. It's more of the interesting of her stupidity.
certainly entitled to that opinion.
Yep. That's
am I allowed to ask him a question?
Sure.
You just asked him a question. So you're going to ask him another one? Oh, wonderful. Aren't you special?
Go ahead.
Mr. Lane, how is it that you and I are supposed to be speaking to one another?
Oh, Jesus. And he's going to let her know how they'll be communicating.
So my suggestion would be, since you're now the attorney and you are pro se, that either you or your honor gives me access to the jail to come visit with you, and I'll be happy to do that. It is the policy of the Orange County Jail to have a letter from an attorney to allow me to access you. That's the reason for the previous couple of.
I was having a hard time getting this one to actually hear what he was saying, because it was picking it up more as noise in the background. But what he's saying is you have to give permission for me to have access to you, or the judge can, or your attorney, and seeing that you represent yourself, you should be able to do that. And you just basically write, and that gives me access to you. He's not going to give her any sort of legal advice. Maybe we could talk in Pig Latin. SGA.
Attorneys, I thought, had the ability to come out and access you, but that's changed. I would be happy to continue to move forward with any investigative action that would be fixed.
So you need a letter from me.
From you or from the judge that allows him to have access to her. But this is a limited access. He is done working for her once he hands over these documents. Now, I'm sure she'll complain about that also. But once he's done with these documents, he is done. He is there for a limited purpose. That's it.
Or the judge or the jail, somebody that will allow me access to you. Yes, ma'am.
And I send it to you directly?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this a letter also that you'll be supplying to him?
I don't know that I'm in a position to compel the Orange County Jail to do anything.
There you go. That's all he has to say. Hey, Terry Ham.
That you are the ones who contacted him.
but I can't tell the jail, let this person come
And he did not contact him. It was JA that contacted him.
talk to you. If they have a policy where you need to provide the letter, then you need to provide the letter.
So until you have that letter, you and I will not be able to speak with one another?
I will contact the jail myself and find out if there's potential for pro se, or maybe they can speak to you directly to certainly get the actual letter itself.
Thank you.
Ma'am, do you have any other questions?
I don't think you have enough time. I'm just doing my best, and if you could please keep an eye out for my motions.
Oh, this guy's an idiot. Woman.
We'll be on the lookout for them. You said there were 5, correct?
Yes.
I will be on.
Please include me on the certificate of service for whatever hearings that we have that are no longer a surprise for me, please.
Understood.
Well, we'll see you in court in August. She's already been informed, so you don't need to have a written service. If he's telling her that she needs to be here at a certain time on the 5th. So 5th of next month, she needs to be there. And more than likely, she'll say it's another surprise hearing, which it's not. She's been well informed. I would only block spam, not a real person saying anything short of something that could get me in trouble. Yeah.
You'll be given a copy of the court's order that I read momentarily, and I will see you both on August 5 at 8:45.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you all very much. Mr. Cacciatore, anything further, sir?
Nothing from the state.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day. Oh, wait. Before you leave, that is all going to be yours. Yes, I would, sir, so that you can begin the digitization process. All right. I'll see you on the 5th.
I'll have you return
She's going to want to have
Perfect.
a talk to
Thank you,
this
sir.
person. So whoever this is that's standing right there, I do believe it's some sort of reporter is probably asking her some questions. But I wasn't able to get too much out of the audio for it. So
Yes. Yeah, I'm just.
she just looks like a very unhappy person. I mean, she looked like a very unhappy person beforehand.
Sir, can you just hang out for a second so I can give you a copy of the order? Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, I tried to get as much as I could out of it, but there, basically whatever she's saying, this person is writing down. So more than likely, she's giving some sort of like on the spot interview. She's sucking up the attention because this is the most attention that she's got. You're going to say she's much more beautiful than Lynette. Yes, but she still looks very unhappy. She just looks like an unhappy person. And the thing is, you know, the sweet little puppy dog eyes went away 20, 30 years ago for her. They don't work anymore. You'll notice she'll start giving these little innocent puppy dog eyes, and it just doesn't work for her. See, she seems to be more concerned with what the newspaper's doing, more concerned with what the YouTube is talking about her, rather than paying attention to what she needs to do for her own case. And that's going to be her downfall. She's going to showboat for the camera and lose. Yeah, see, there she goes with the upturned eyes. Like, woe is me. Yeah, it doesn't work for her. That hasn't worked for her in quite some time. She's not going to get away with with what she's done. Yeah, this is like I said, nothing more I could get out of that particular one. It got pretty jacked at the end there because they just weren't interested in what she had to say. So that's what we've got going on with her. Is pretty much a lot of nothing, and so the next hearing will be on the 5th. I mean, like I said, there wasn't a whole lot of anything to cover on this, but it was just something to sort of keep it out front there. There's a, I didn't do I've been trying to do once a week, just sort of, keeping you guys up to date with what I've got going on and what I've been working on, what's coming up, what to expect. Of course, the Sarah Boone stuff, that stuff will be coming out. If I'm not mistaken, there's going to be probably a bunch of other cases that are going to be coming. I'll cover them as I possibly can. The Sarah Boone thing is one that I was just like, yeah, this one here is screwy. That just, it reminded me of some other crazy stuff that I've seen in my life. I did cover a little bit of What the Hell's last week, which I found really interesting that stuff had actually happened. That she was meeting with a judge pro se, which you should not be doing at all. So I thought that was something worthwhile of reporting on. And then I saw there was, of course, we've got the ongoing stuff with the election that's going to be coming up, and probably have to dig into that stuff a little bit more. That's going to definitely keep me really busy over the next couple of weeks. There is a time here next month. Yeah, next month. No, September that I will probably be taking a little bit of time off, just taking a break. It comes around the time of my wife and I's anniversary, my birthday, all that kind of stuff. So this year, because we didn't take any sort of vacation, I may just take a little bit of time off, and go spend time with the wife, maybe travel a little bit for the birthday kind of thing, and for our anniversary. We just sort of do as an all-in-one kind of thing. Yeah, Roxanne. Yeah, Sarah Boone knows a little of absolutely nothing. So that's sort of what I've got going on in September. August is going to be, it's going to be hot. It's going to be really hot. I've got some outdoor projects that I'm working on, so I may not be doing as much YouTube as I normally would. As the Sarah Boone stuff does happen, I will probably be covering those at night, after I get off of work. No, Shizzy, how we'll be able to cope without that voice. Just kidding. I hope you are. You got to go, Aaron? Well, Aaron, tonight, just remember that we'll be over on MG's starting at 10 tonight is where we're going to be tonight. I'll be kicking everybody over there whenever I leave, so you guys know where to find us. There's going to be some more of the election stuff. I'm sure that's going to be coming out. And of course, currently, as much as the news might like to tell you this, the Democrats do not have a candidate. Although Biden has given his support to Kamala, or Camel Toe, whatever the hell the name is, he's given his stuff to Harris, basically saying, "Here, you take all of my people that wanted me to run, and you take it." So he's given all that to her, but she hasn't earned it. So we'll see what happens at the DNC. As soon as that starts coming out, I'll be covering the DNC. More than likely, I'll be covering it at night after it's already started, and I'll be skipping across and listening. Probably do some bad lip sync like I did last time, bad lip reading, whatever. And I'm gonna have fun with it. Her name always reminds me of old school wrestler named Kamala the Ugandan Giant. DNC will be interesting. Yeah, I'm sure it will be. I mean, that's where all the delegates will say their spiel and say who they're throwing their hat in for. And that could take even longer because, like I said, they never did any sort of primary. And more than likely, they won't do anything. It's just everybody's going to, got to get their 2 cents in there. The leadership doesn't want her. Well, tough, Puddletown, they're stuck with her. They're stuck with her. This is what happens whenever you're a diversity hire. Nobody wants you around because you're just a rabble rouser. But hey, speaking of diversity hires, I got to show you guys a really good one. And if you guys want to hang for a little bit, this one will be fun. This will be fun. This was I'm trying to think who it was that came up with this one. I want to say it was I'll just have to pull it up. I'll just have to pull it up for you guys. So this was oh yeah. This was a very, very good one. So I didn't get a chance to see this one all the way through, but I've seen a part of it, which was enough to make me go, what the hell is going on? So this was the Honorable Gina K. Abercrombie Winston Stanley, Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer. So this was a Biden hire. Okay, you just have to remember this was somebody that Biden put in charge of this, and she is about to get completely annihilated. Hey, just Dawn. Hello, my soulless one. How are you in this fine Texas evening? Good to see you. This one is a good one. The Purple Hearts are rolling in. Oh, yeah. Here we go.
But again,
So do you believe the senior State Department official who sent this email was lying?
So, senior State Department
Senator,
official
I
sent this letter, and here I'll go back to what the letter says. It says, colleagues, as we enter into another assignment cycle, we wanted to remind everyone that hiring decisions should never be made on the basis of protected EEO categories, including gender, race, disability, sexual orientation, or religion. Why are we raising this now? Unfortunately, over the past several months, a number of people have reported comments that certain candidates could not be hired because 1, they have a disability, 2, they are white men, 3, they are straight white men, 4, they are not of the right religion. None of this is legal, and none of it compounds with department regulations, and none of it is good management practice any more than hiring anyone because of. So this is what he's showing.
Email was lying?
Senator, I
You had a diversity meeting at work today? What the hell? So you had a diversity meeting at work today. Company tried to tell us they care about you. You know what I do? You know what I would do at those diversity meetings whenever they would come up? I'd be like, how much you paying me? No, I mean, seriously, how much you paying me to show up to a meeting that I don't care about? Because if you need to tell me anything about diversity, then you don't understand my job. Because my job doesn't matter. It's nuts, bolts, and oil. Maybe with some rubber thrown in there, but nuts, bolts, and oil. And it does not care what color, religion, race, anything about you. It doesn't matter. So that's all the diversity I need to know. And just make sure that you don't put an 11 millimeter into a 10 millimeter slot. You'll be fine. Your 13-year-old just beat you in basketball. Kind of proud and depressed at the same time. Hey, nothing wrong with that. That's pretty damned awesome.
Can't comment on, not, I don't know who that's from. I don't know if it's, I've never seen it before, so.
She's never seen it before, but she knows about it.
So you're the chief diversity officer, and you're arguing you are certain discrimination is not happening at the State Department. Is that right? Is that what you're testifying? That's what you just said.
Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ambassador Abercrombie Winstanley. The Biden administration, I believe, is staffed by radicals. The State Department has consistently alienated our friends and appeased our enemies.
Uh-huh.
You're empowered as the State Department's first standalone Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer.
Uh-huh.
Your mandate is to promote a concept on the left called equity, which I think is nothing more than brazen discrimination. You were appointed in April 2021.
Yep.
And as you extensively testified this morning, you introduced fundamental changes to the State Department hiring practices in line with the mandate of equity to affirmatively and aggressively discriminate.
Yes.
A year after your appointment, in April 2022, the State Department released its, quote, equity action plan to integrate these so-called equity principles into, quote, all aspects of State Department foreign affairs. That very week, just days after you published the equity action plan, and 1 year after you began your tenure, a senior State Department official broadly distributed what I consider to be a very troubling email.
Uh-huh.
I have a copy of that email next to me. Let me read from a part of the email. The email says that hiring practices have developed inside the State Department so that, and I'll quote, that certain candidates could not be hired because they have a disability. They are white men. They are straight white men. They are not of the, quote, right religion. All of these are verbatim quotes from the email of a senior State Department official. My first question to you is, did you clear this guidance?
Thank you for the question, Senator.
Oh, thank you for the question, Senator. So now we break out the condescending voice. Oh, thank you for the question, Senator. I'm very calm. You're such an angry white man, right?
I've never seen that before.
You've never seen the email before,
I've never seen it.
so you didn't know it had been sent.
This is the first time I'm seeing it, sir.
Well, do you know that it is happening? That the State Department perceives, and this is, I believe, as a result of your work, that they have a mandate to discriminate against, as the email says, to discriminate against people with disabilities, to discriminate against white men, to discriminate against straight white men, and to discriminate against people that are not of the, quote, right religion. I'm not sure what that meant, but I suspect it meant that if someone is a Christian. I don't know that because that's not what the email says. Are you aware these practices are happening at the State Department?
Again, thank you for the question. I am definite and certain that they are not happening at the State Department. But again,
So do you believe the senior State Department official who sent this email was lying?
Ooh.
Senator, I can't comment on, I don't know who that's from. I don't know if it's,
Yeah.
I've never seen it before. So
So
you
you're
say?
the chief diversity officer, and you're arguing you are certain discrimination is not happening at the State Department. Is that right? Is that what you're testifying? That's what you just said.
I am saying that it is against the law, and we certainly
Exactly.
are not overtly or on purpose breaking the law in the Department of State. Certainly, there are members of our organization who do discriminate, who do harass, who do bully, which is why we are trying to put in place programs to address it and to strengthen.
See, this condescending attitude is what people are like, you're beating around the bush. You're avoiding the answer to the question. The Honorable's nonsensical answers are all stall tactics. Exactly. She knows.
Strengthen accountability for those who do
So-
indeed break the law.
So you didn't clear this guidance, and after it was sent, you're testifying now that you remained unaware of it, so no one showed it to you. You were in the State Department for a year. You were empowered in your position in an unprecedented way. In your testimony, you talked about creating a DEIA data working group about hiring practices and a dedicated DEIA core precept. And your
Yes.
testimony is you didn't know that this
Absolutely.
discrimination was happening. My staff can transmit to you the exact header and the details of this email.
Okay.
But I have to say, Ambassador, I find it a little bit amazing
That you don't know what's happening
that
in
this
your own-
discrimination is being reported to be ongoing in the administration, and you are professing to be unaware of it. I'm reminded from a line from the movie Office Space. What would you say you do around here? What is your job if not to stop discrimination? And unfortunately, I believe what your job in practice is encouraging this discrimination. This is a manifestation. You just said a minute ago in testimony, your hiring and promotion in the State Department will depend on complying with the edicts from your office. Is it good for the State Department and good for the United States government to be actively discriminating based on disability, based on race, based on being straight white man, or based on not being the right religion? Is that good or bad?
Senator, as I'm looking at the email, it does appear to me, and my eyesight is not great, that people have reported comments. That's certain candidates.
So what it says is,
Sorry.
unfortunately, over the past several months, a number of people have reported comments that certain candidates could not be hired
Right.
because. So these are employees at the State Department saying, we can't hire someone because, and here's what the email lists: they have a disability, they're white men, they're straight white men, or they're not of the right religion.
Indeed. And so I would say comments does not at all say it is indeed happening.
Comments from hiring people saying we can't hire them because of it.
Time of the senator has well expired.
Yes.
Senator Rubio.
Beating around the bush.
Thank you. Ambassador Abercrombie Winstanley, the President's executive order, I think it's 13985, it provides a list of underserved communities, and it mandates that executive agencies seek to promote equitable, fair, and impartial outcomes for those communities. And I too believe not only is diversity our strength as a country, but if in fact our workforce does not reflect our population, then it merits a inquiry into what are the impediments. Are there any artificial impediments that are leading to that outcome? In the list of the underserved communities are groups that have historically faced discrimination in this country on the basis of their race, their religion, their gender. But it also includes a list of other groups. First-generation college students, which I happen to be, people with limited English speaking ability, immigrants, the elderly, former convicts, people from rural areas, military spouses, single parents, all good groups. I'm just curious, if we include all the people that have been discriminated against historically, plus all of these other groups, who is not an underserved community?
All of them. See, you have to understand that long before they brought slaves to the United States, long before they even moved to the United States, long before they even found Britain, there was slavery. And there's still slavery going on today. There's people that are discriminated against on a daily basis. Doesn't matter. So are you going to include those people? Oh, no, we only include those that we want to include to get their vote. That's all. Can't they fire her? No. She was appointed by Biden. They can't. Why do they never answer? Never. None of them. Why waste American dollars, Congress, Senate? Do anything, please. They can't. That's the problem. They would love to, but they can't. All they can do is show you the kind of people that are being hired. This right here. I'll try to explain this. The only reason that this is being shown, the only reason that they're having this hearing is to basically go down and bring the current president down. That's the only reason that they're doing it. That's the only reason that they're asking these questions. That's it. That's all that it is. It has nothing to do with them personally. It is about bringing the current administration down. That's all it is. As you'll see the same thing happen on the left as it does on the right. As these guys are attacking her, they'll bring somebody in, after 2024 that's on the other side of the political aisle to bring down another person. It's not about building people up. It's about bringing them down. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your question, Senator. I can tell you that my office looks at this two ways. A, that our responsibility is focused on those groups who have been historically underrepresented in the Department of State who are protected classes. And so that is a more narrow
What is a
list of
protected
people,
class?
the first group that you mentioned.
What is a protected class? Are you saying that they're protected as in like they need your help? You taking away their agency? I'm sorry, I don't understand. Protected class. What does protected class mean? Are you saying that because you're a certain color, creed, you have certain beliefs that determines whether you're protected or not protected? Can you explain this to me? Anybody? Huh. I'm trying to understand. I mean, what do you mean by protected class? So, I mean, what does that mean? What is protected class?
The reality is,
it's also everything that we don't have in common. Huh. It isn't just race, color, religion. It's also everything we don't have in common. Which is pretty much everything. That's what makes us all individuals. Yeah, I don't understand what protected class means. Protected from what? Is it a gilded cage? I don't understand.
as we work to remove barriers to those groups, we are in fact left.
Well, then that wouldn't be a protected class. That would just be showing racism. What you're saying, Puddletown, protected class is anyone they think is held back by the white man. Nobody's being held back by white man. That would be racism. Like if you're accusing a white man of doing something, that would be racism. Just like that would be sort of stereotypical, wouldn't it? I'm very confused by her statements. They make no sense. They make no sense at all. Her stupidity is amazing.
Leveling the playing field for every group. We're focused on making merit-based decisions. So removing those artificial barriers.
Merit-based decisions. She's saying that they're focused on making merit-based decisions, but yet you're talking about protected class. Okay, so you can't have it both ways. You can't say merit-based decisions and protected class because those are two different things. It's word salad. I'm very confused. I mean, the shop I worked in, we had really good mechanics that actually spent a lot of time going through the entire course of Honda, all 900 and some odd learning modules, plus hours going to Honda school, plus putting it all into application. and then going back and retesting and keeping up to date on that. Those guys became master techs. Okay? How fair would it be, because I was of a different race, religion, creed, or whatever, for them to say, oh, okay, you're a master mechanic also, and never actually have done the work? You know, it's sort of like Camel Toe in her aspect, because she's not done the work to receive the nomination from the Democrat Party. See, diversity because of, oh, she just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Well, that's not how it works. Nobody wants her there, but yet they're going to put her there.
Barriers. So when we do things like ensure that people can interview for the Department of State via a virtual
Yeah, we're all Americans.
technique, while it might indeed help groups that are in the center of the country or from families that can't afford a $1,000 plane ticket to fly to San Francisco.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? They can't afford a $1,000 plane ticket to fly to San Francisco. What? Okay, I'm very confused of what her word salad is. Because, yeah. Well, no, equality and equity are two different things. Equality and equity are two different things. Equity is something that you hold in a bank. Equity is something whenever you buy property. You gain equity. Equality, it means equal. No different than. Pretty straightforward. She said today is a melting pot makes all the ingredients the same. We are more than a salad. You can taste every ingredient and they all work together to make this salad great. Her department shouldn't even exist. Yeah, wrong word. Spell check.
And we do things like ensure that people can interview for the Department of State via a virtual technique, while
Okay. But why would you be interviewing for the Department of State unless you have you can show some sort of skill? Like, okay. Which mechanic do you want to have work on your car? The guy that interviewed for the job, and because he got hired because of whatever color that he was, he got hired on to do the job? Or do you want to hire the guy that spent, 30 years figuring out how to fix cars? Okay? The guy that just walked in off the street says, hey, I can do that. Or do you want to hire the guy that has 30 years of experience and says, hey, I can do that? Now, let's put it the other way around. One of them is black and one of them is Vietnamese. Does it matter which one is which? Which one are you going to hire? You're going to be looking at what their color is? Are you going to be concerned what their color is whenever you're thinking about driving your kids on long distance travel, wondering if those brakes are going to fail because the guy that showed up at a meeting because he never did the schooling, would you hire him to fix your brakes, or maybe the guy that has 30 years? I would say 30 years is probably the guy that I would want to have do it personally, but that's just me. But that's where equity shows up, and that's where it rears its ugly head, and they fail to recognize this. Doesn't matter, as long as your brakes are fixed. I want the best doctor. Exactly. 30 years experience with honesty? Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying that the guy, that has 0 years and has never laid his hands on a vehicle before, that he can't do a good job and maybe make it work. But I've seen mechanics that went through school but have no experience and drill a hole with a sheetrock screw into an AC condenser. Okay? while trying to replace an airbag, which you shouldn't have to do, ever. Yeah, I've seen those kinds of things. Quotas allow illegals to take jobs from Americans. I don't know about that, but quotas allow the worst of the worst to do the job that should not be done by the worst of the worst. If you want any better explanation, just look at what happened with the Secret Service and Donald Trump. Just saying, things weren't on the up and up there.
It might indeed help groups that are in the center of the country or from families that can't afford a $1,000 plane ticket to fly to San Francisco or Washington, D.C.
If they can't afford a plane ticket to fly to Washington or D.C., then why are they applying for a job? Why are they applying for a job? Why not get the job in your local government or in a local level? Why do you have to work for the State Department? What is necessary that you work for the State Department if you don't have the skill? Because it goes to show the tenacity of it. Oh, but we have to open it up for everybody. Well, can they do the job? If they can do the job, then what is the harm of them, spending $1,000 to take a plane ticket? If it, Jesus Christ, if it's taking you $1,000 to get a plane ticket to DC from wherever the hell it is that you might be, then fly freaking JetBlue or some crap like that. I mean, $1,000 ticket to fly across the country, that right there is flying first class. She does not know anything about flying. For $1,000, Jesus, I can fly to Europe. The hell is wrong with this idiot?
It's also going to touch on other groups of people who also have that problem. So in that way, we are able to hit that wide variety of groups.
I understand, but I mean, when you add to and I know you didn't write the executive order, but
You just had your airbag replaced, your air conditioner doesn't work. How do I know if they didn't screw wrong? Well, they may have disconnected something. If you had your airbag replaced and your air conditioner doesn't work, that doesn't mean that the same thing happened all at once. Was your air conditioning working before you took it in? If it was working before you took it in, then I would say my air conditioning wasn't working before I brought it in. I brought it in. Now my air conditioner's not working. What did you guys do wrong? More than likely, and I'll just say this from experience, more than likely you've got a leak around your, I'm trying to think, your Schrader valves. That's pretty easy to see. All you have to do is look at the little Schrader valves on top of your AC. If you've got a little bit of oil around them, more than likely they're leaking. But also, depending on what year, make, and model you have, there's a possibility that your AC compressor clutch went out. Sometimes you can replace those. If it's a Honda, I know how to replace those. It's only about like a couple $100 to replace those. Or you have to replace the condenser, which costs even more because it's about $500 just for the condenser itself. Could be even more now. State Department will pay for that airline ticket. At least that's what they told you a lifetime ago. See? Yeah, no, cars are really easy for me. I mean, that's the thing. No, if they did screw something into the AC condenser, you would find out really quick because there would be a smell of Freon. It has a weird funky smell to it, and it would have leaked out. And once it leaks out, then yeah, the system automatically shuts down. Yeah, I've done I don't know how many of those damn things. Crazy.
But what I'm saying is that when underserved communities expands to includes, all these other groups, which are all, I mean, there's nothing, I understand the struggles or the challenges of each of these groups individually. It just seems like we've really narrowed the pool of people who we do not consider underserved to a very narrow category of people, which obviously begs the question, what information, do we keep a list of, for example, the religious affiliations of all the employees? Do we keep a list of everybody's ethnicity?
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
We collect limited information on demographic information, and
Oh.
we have a number of employee organizations that group around many of these other characteristics that you've mentioned.
That's racism. That's racism right there. What she just said is it's racism. Shh, too much money. No, Windows. Too much money now, Windows.
Mentioned, whether it be singles at state, working parents at state, veterans. None of those are protected classes per se, but they...
Protected classes per se? What she means to say is they might be a veteran, but if they're not the right color or the right religion, well, then they're not a protected class. I mean, we might have someone that's totally qualified to do this job, but because, well, they don't check all the boxes, and, well, we keep limited amount of information on them, racism and spying, yeah.
do have issues that employees talk about, work with our HR, our global talent management to...
If you have HR in the State Department, then you're screwed. You're screwed if you have HR in the State Department. You think? You think? Wouldn't it be though? Wouldn't it be groundbreaking? And not only white, but like a white Christian. Oh, wouldn't that be interesting?
ensure that they have a level playing field and the ability to serve to the best of their ability when they're in the department.
I guess my point...
You understand what she means by level playing field? A level playing field means that we knock down anybody that might be doing better. That's what a level playing field is. A level playing field does not allow anyone to succeed beyond what the lowest common denominator is. That is a level playing field. If you want a level playing field, nobody advances, nobody gets smarter, nobody gets better. Only the leaders up at the top are the ones that are allowed to do it. If you follow all their rules and you do everything that they tell you to do, you don't think outside the box, you do as you're told. You say everything that you're supposed to say. You check all the boxes. If you check all the boxes, then you advance to the next level. It's not about being qualified. It's about being equified. Keep them dumb and down. Yep.
I don't know how we can possibly make these efforts.
How did they become protected? The way I see it, everyone has the same opportunity to apply for jobs and get an education. Making protected class is unfair, racist. Exactly. But that's the point. If they can't get you one way, they'll get you another.
To help these groups, broad array of individual groups that have been defined as underserved, without collecting information about all of these topics. Are they the first to go to college in their family? What's their religion? What's their race? What do they speak English? Are they immigrants? I mean, that's the point I'm trying to make. We're collecting a lot of information. My time is short. I did want to ask you, I'm curious how U.S. interests were advanced by promoting a film festival in Portugal that highlighted Minban, which is a film about a 17-year-old boy who has sexual relations with an adult bartender, and Saint Narcisse, which I think is how you pronounce it, which is a film about incestuous twins. How would promoting, which was part of some sort of drag queen film festival in Portugal, how does that advance our national interest, and how much taxpayer money was spent putting on this film festival?
Thank you for the question, Senator. I will take it back to get an answer for you. I do.
I'll take it back to get an answer for you. No, you should know this right off the top of your head. Ouch.
Not know.
You're not familiar with this?
I am not familiar.
So you don't know how much we spend or how many State Department employees work. You're just not familiar with the topic.
I'm not familiar with those films or that festivals.
Okay.
Yeah, because she doesn't know what's going on in her own department. Because she's just collected a paycheck. You pretentious bitch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you handle festivals as part of your portfolio?
I do not.
Okay. Senator,
Well, does she handle, no, Mr. Chairman, that's not the point. The point is it's part of the diversity
the point is, I
and
just want to
equity.
clarify for the record that she does not handle festivals. It's a legitimate question, and I look forward for her to get back.
She handles
and answer.
diversity and equity issues, which was part of a diversity and equity initiative.
Oh, that's crazy. That is ridiculous. Yeah, it's called working hard to earn instead of the government giving you extra help. Yeah. This is something that we like to do. We like to work hard and earn everything that we get as Americans. Generally, there comes some sort of satisfaction out of building something from the ground up. If you've ever built anything, even if it's just something as simple as a Lego model, you sort of get this satisfaction whenever you've put all the pieces together and it holds, and you look at it, you go, man, that's pretty cool. You get some sort of satisfaction out of that. I think as Americans grow older, possibly, I don't know, maybe they don't, but I would think that as Americans grow older, they look back at the things that they've created, the things that they've done, the connections they've made, that they look back and say, I built that with my own two hands. I created this one thing that nobody else created. I did this all on my own. And get some sort of satisfaction out of it. I know that every time my wife hands me some new project to build, well, first of all, I usually go, well, crap, how am I going to build this damn thing? That's usually the first thing that comes out of my mouth. And then once I start building it, I do get some sort of satisfaction out of, hey, I built this with my own two hands. I've created something that not only I get some enjoyment out of, my wife gets some enjoyment out of. Damn, USB drive is acting funky. It is... I don't know. I do get that satisfaction out of seeing the things that I've created, the things I've built. Even if it's just something as simple as back whenever I was playing Call of Duty, I was with this group of guys that played also, and one of them asked me to build some sort of website for him. I was like, oh, shit, I've never built a website. I reached out to this other guy, and he was like, oh yeah, here's how you do it. Here, let me give you this software. This will make it a hell of a lot easier. So that way you don't have to type like hours of code. You just basically drag and drop, and it'll create this website. This is before, you had all the easy website building tools. I think it was Dreamweaver or something like that. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. To basically create a website, give it some different novel ideas, and then he sent me this link because this was like a little sniper group or whatever, and so he goes, hey, check this out. There's this really cool thing that you can do. I'll send you the information for it. You just drop it in there, and this is where you put it. He says, so as you move along, the little scope will travel all over and it'll sort of zoom in on it. And I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. So I added that to it. And, it was fun. It was fun building this little website that I don't think anybody really ever visited. But you get some sort of satisfaction of seeing the finished product, and you got the forum set up so everything works, and you've got all of the chat rooms set up, and the connections and the links and all that stuff is working as it should. Everything looks how it should whenever you put it on either an iPhone, or if you looked at it on iOS or on an Android device, or if you looked at it on a PC or a PC with a wide screen, it would look different ways. And there was some satisfaction of completing that. And the same satisfaction of, like over the weekend I built like a little indoor doghouse, I guess you could call it. Just basic. What did my wife call it? She called it a cuddle closet or something like that, whatever. So a place where the dogs could hide out whenever we have thunderstorms. And, you know, I get the same satisfaction out of it. It's like, if they use it, that's going to be even more satisfying, but so far they haven't used it. Adobe Dreamweaver, yeah, web design software, supports lots of coding languages. Exactly. So, I mean, you could do it in HTML, you could do it in whatever you wanted to. How did it turn out? Oh, the doghouse is pretty awesome. It's got a little dog bed in it, and the dog doesn't sleep in it. Doesn't even touch it. Of course, we haven't had any good storms yet, so I have a top to put on it, but I'm hesitant about using that piece of acacia because once I cut it, that's it. It'll be done. I won't be able to use it for anything else. So I've got a temporary top on it to see if they'll actually use it during storms. If they use it during storms, then I'll put the nice top on it. But until then, it may just end up becoming, you know, something that gets thrown in the fire and gets burned. I mean, it's just leftover plywood that I had. You know, that's all. I mean, it's interesting to me that we spend so much time worrying about diversity and inclusion and racism and all this other bullshit whenever if you just stepped out and actually did the work, it wouldn't matter what color you were. You know, one of the guys that I worked with left California. He was working on their diesel engines, but he had also worked at Honda for a period of time. Guy was, you know, older. I think he was probably about the same age as me, maybe older. I don't know. Never really asked, but you know, if you hand him a vehicle, he would be able to tear it down and build it just as easily as I could. Really low stress. And he was probably more qualified to do the job because he had skills that I didn't even have. And a mentality I didn't have also. It's, and does it matter what color the guy is? Does it matter whether he's black, Hispanic, white, Asian? Doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter. He was there to do a job. He had the tools, you know, not just in tools with you know, the equipment that he had, but tools within his mind. He could visualize what needed to be done and he could fix it. He could troubleshoot whatever was going on with the car and come to a good conclusion. Not always right, but no different than anybody else working as a mechanic. I think this is where we fall apart as a country whenever we don't use our minds, where we rely on, you know, Google to answer all your questions without learning the skill. I mean, how many of you cook? I mean, I can raise both hands. I cook on a regular basis. I enjoy cooking. And I know guys that they, you know, their cooking repertoire is, a can of soup. You know, they're just like, I ain't gonna bother with that. Or a grilled cheese sandwich. But there's nothing wrong with having that. But you can't expect someone that can only cook a grilled cheese sandwich to make you a hummingbird cake. You know, just by reading Google, if all you've ever done is cooked some soup, because there's nuances to it that you don't think about whenever you're cooking. I did short order cook for quite some time, so I picked up some certain skills. Like I can make an omelet that looks nice, big, and fluffy. I can also make a flat iron omelet, which looks flat and sort of gross, but it's all in the way that you fold the eggs, how hot your grill has to be. You know, things like that you don't really think about. Now, my wife, she can bake, but as a cook, she's limited on what she can cook. But that's not one of her skills. I didn't marry her for that. I didn't marry her for her cooking, because I did most of the cooking anyway. And early on in our relationship, I'm just really damn good at it. It also has to do with the timing. You think about how long it's going to take to cook. And it's from experience that you learn how that happens. You know, for example, if you're making some bacon and eggs, you don't throw down your toast before you start cooking your bacon. Your bacon is going to take longer to cook, so you figure out how much time it's going to cook. where it is that whenever you flip the bacon, how much more time you have left. Because eggs are only going to take a couple of minutes to cook, if even that. Depends on how you like them. Over easy if you want them scrambled. If you're gonna do a scrambled, how you're gonna scramble. If you're gonna do them in an omelet, what kind of omelet you want to have. Is all your other meat prepared? And then once you've done it a few times, you're just like, okay, well, I put down my toast the same time I put down my eggs. That way my eggs can come off the plate. I can lay them out right nice and neat right there next to the bacon. Toast pops up, I can throw a little bit of butter on it. It's still hot, melts the butter, and you don't end up with like soggy bread or something like that. I mean, you figure this stuff out over a period of time. It just becomes second nature. Same way with working on cars. You know, whenever you're pulling the engine off, you're going, okay, what all the wiring harnesses do I have to have disconnected so I can drop this engine out of the frame while it stays on the frame while I pull everything else apart, because all I have to replace are these parts to it. Or changing out an AC condenser. You know that you have to evacuate all AC refrigerant out of the system beforehand. So you have to get that all set up. You evacuate that out, and it's just a step in a process. And you know how much time it's going to take you to do it. So you can easily take and go to lunch in the middle of doing an evac on a system, because it's going to take 15 minutes to do, for example. So you just sort of time your day. I had guys I worked with that couldn't understand how I was able to start at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and be walking out of there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, see, guys, I'm out. Sometimes 2, I would be gone. I'd be done with my work. And they would go, how are you able to do that? Put in an 8-hour day, 10-hour day, and not even think twice about it. I was like, well, it's not hard. At the end of the day, I made sure that my bay was cleaned up. Unless I was doing like a big job. Like, say, for example, I got an engine that needed to be pulled at the end of the day or halfway through the day. So I would pull the engine out, drop it down, tear all the parts I needed to off of it to get it ready for the next day. Whenever I show up, the engine block would be there, and all I had to do is set the engine block in, spend the next half day putting all of the parts back on it and putting it back in the car and giving it a test drive. I mean, you just learned how to do your time. We found what we have in common, and we get along fine without the government. Yeah, government doesn't have to tell me how to cook, how to work on a car. The government is there to sort of keep people safe as a whole. Without government and certain regulations, you wouldn't have things like safety for transportation and things like that. Of course, you probably wouldn't have airbags. You'd still be planting your chin into a steel dash. But hey, at least you keep your damn seatbelt on. Back when things were more simple with vehicles, things have never been simple with vehicles. Ever. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Things were not simple with vehicles. Because back in the day, when everybody thinks it was simpler with vehicles, oh, look, it had point systems. Okay. That was not simple, because you had to know what the gauge depth was on the points. If you didn't know what the gauge depth was, because unless you went to Ford or Chevy or Dodge or AMC or BMW or any other manufacturer, each one of them had their own specifications for it. And they wouldn't tell you the specifications. You would have to go to school. So, for example, if you wanted to work in a shop, something like Sears, for example, if you wanted to work in Sears, there wasn't a school that you would go to learn how to work on cars in general. You had to learn how to work on BMWs, Mercedes. You had to learn how to work on GMC. You had to learn how to work on Fords, and each one of those you had to get certified in, or else they wouldn't let you work on them. And that cost a lot of money. So it wasn't much simpler whenever you were younger. There was a lot more difficulties in that. What's my favorite car? 1941 pickup is yours. My favorite car? Shit. I don't have one. I really don't. tell you the truth, I really have never had a favorite car. I mean, I like the looks of certain cars. Like I like the way that the '57 Chevy looks. I also like the way that the like the step sides look. I mean, nothing in particular. I mean, if I had one car to choose to drive the rest of my life, I mean, I guess, give me an old Honda Prelude that's reliable. I mean, shit, I don't know. I had a Mazda RX-7. Those were a pain in the ass. You'll have one someday? Well, I meant no computer brains that screw up, causing bus, cam loss, and communications, BTU, and mill crap. Yeah. I mean, your favorite car is a running one. There you go. That's about right. You had a BMW 528e, was garbage, but loved it before your weird Saab obsession. Yeah, I had a 528i is what I had. That was a 2000, I think a 2000 528i. No, it was a 1990. It was still a 2000, but it was manufactured in 1999. Really hard to get certain things for it because it didn't cross over, whatever. But yeah, that was a fun car. My wife, yeah, she drove that into the ground. Yeah, that was my trade-in for my 73 Plymouth Satellite, which I never had any problems with, but my wife couldn't drive it. She had some little Jetta or something like that. It's weird. Cars, they're fun. They're a blast. I would own a whole garage full of them just so I could drive one whenever I felt like driving or got the urge to it. But as far as favorite car, I just really haven't found one. I would like to drive the Tesla at some point in time. I think that would be an interesting car to drive, or lack thereof, whatever. It'd be fun. But would I ever want to own one for like my main source of transportation? I mean, I'd rather have, a 2019 Indian than, worry about a car. I mean, that's just me. I mean, my grandfather had a 41 Ford, so it's crazy. You have a Chevy Silverado 2008, love her and her ticks and talks, which there are lots of. Yeah. '08 Silverado, yeah, my uncle has one of those. I think it was an '08. Yeah, I think that's about right. No, it might have been older than that. Might have been a 90s model. Yeah, I think it was a 92 or 93 Silverado. Yeah, I remember the day that he came home and had a big dent in the side of his truck where a deer rammed it. Well, and a lot of those ticks and talks are really easy to take care of. Usually it's just control arm bushings that go shot on those things. Yeah, then you've got to get the alignment right on them, and yeah, all the little control arm bushings and all that kind of crap. No self-parking or self-driving for me. No, I'm not talking about the self-parking. I'm just talking about the pure adrenaline rush of watching those things go from 0 to 60 before it gets through a stoplight. That's pretty damn awesome. Of course, let's see, you've got the super sports, which are pretty damn fast, the old Impalas. Then you've got like the Chevelles were pretty damn awesome. I did like the Chevy Novas, the earlier models. I still would like to own a 69 Cougar convertible. I don't like convertibles, but I like that particular car. And then also the Corvette Stingray. That's a pretty interesting one. Now we're talking about the older one. I think it was a 68 or 67 with the split window in the back. That one, I just like that flat look. I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't like the 70s models, but the 60s models were pretty cool. Yeah, just things like that. A Jeep, yeah. No, see, I'd like to have an old Willis Jeep. That would be fun too. Like I said, I'd just love to have a bunch of different cars just to drive them. Hell, just one time would be fine for me. A Hellcat? I mean, okay. Like, sure. Here's Here's an interesting thing that I found out, which I never really thought about this until I started working on cars. But you can get a supercar for pretty cheap. Serious, a supercar. You can get a Bugatti super cheap. You just have to remember that every like 2,500 miles, so less than an oil change, you're going to be spending about anywhere between 10 and 100 grand. Okay. Look at the maintenance on a supercar. Because an oil change you can't do yourself. So you have to take it to a specialty shop, have the oil change done. That's going to cost you about $300 or $400 to do. You're going to have to change out the tires, and you have to send those off to a specialty shop. And those tires run, I think it's about $6,000 a tire. Plus you have to lube everything up and all that stuff. Yeah, you're looking. Those guys are bragging about their Bugattis and crap like that. Yeah, you know what the maintenance cost is on one of those. There's a reason why they don't drive them. Why they just pretty much sit in their driveway all the time. Because the maintenance on them is expensive. I saw a guy driving a Maserati in this parking lot. And I just had to laugh. Here I am with my crappy BMW 528i that it overheated because I had a bad water pump. So it overheated. Here I am changing out the water pump. This guy comes pulling in an $80,000 Maserati. Granted, I only paid $3,000 for my BMW because it was really used. I think it had over 100,000 miles on it. So he's got this brand spanking new, beautiful Maserati comes rolling in, hit his brakes. That was about the sound it made. He had worn down the brake pads, and his calipers were grinding on the rotors whenever he hit the brakes. Each one of those rotors cost, I think it's about $6,000 each, and that doesn't include the labor included on that. Plus, he was going to have to buy new calipers on it. He was looking at a good like $30,000 just to get those brakes taken care of. Yeah, looking for a car. Guess they're buying a Honda. Sorry, Detroit. Yeah, Hondas, Toyotas, all your Japanese cars are generally going to be pretty reliable. I mean, each one of them has flaws. Like any car that you buy is going to have issues, no matter what you buy. You can get a crappy Honda or a crappy Toyota just as much as you can get a crappy, Ford or Chevy. Same way as opposite. You can get really good ones too. I've had a couple of good Ford products. I've had some pretty good Ford products. I had some pretty good Chevy products. I had a 73 Chevy that was a rust bucket, but that thing ran for freaking ever. Used, I always buy used. I've only bought one brand new car in my life, and I'll never do it again. Ever. Screw that crap. There's no need for that. Buy used. Enjoy life so much more. I guarantee you will find it to be much better. But what I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm going to kick you guys all over to go check out MG. That's where we're going to be tonight, hanging out, having a good time, just seeing what kind of trouble and havoc we can get into. It's going to be an interesting week this week. And just so you guys know, I do stream every morning. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. I'll be doing another stream in the morning. I've got a couple of things that I'll probably be covering because, I mean, what could be more interesting than, diversity and equity and all that other kind of stuff. Maserati had a few ugly years when I was rebranded Chrysler. Yeah. No, thank you, Wanda. No, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy hanging out with you guys and just, shooting the shit and talking about random things, talking about cars or whatever. I mean, it's an experience that and that you have. You know, it's Heidi. Actually, the EcoBoost had great power and economy. It's a little finicky, but good engines. Yeah, not really. Not really. I don't know about that. They tried that on the Hondas. So the Hondas have 2 cylinders that shut down, 3 cylinders that shut down. The number 1, 3, and 6. 1, 3, and 5. Is there 1, 3, 5? Yeah, 1, 3, and 5. So 1, 3, and 5 all shut down whenever it goes into its power saving mode, and they ended up with about a bunch of injectors that get really clogged up, and then there was also a failure with the rings that would screw up. So yeah, at about 60,000 miles, you would end up with big scores on the inside of the pistons. Pistons would damage the cylinder walls, and then you had to basically replace the whole engine. That was always fun. Of course, the first thing they would do is replace the spark plugs on them, but usually by then it was too late. Yeah, I that was some of the engines I had to replace early on working for Honda. Fun stuff. That and the 4-cylinder Civics with the engine block failure, those were pretty cool. Yeah, big leak come out of the engine block. Can't figure out why my car's overheating. Well, your engine's done screwed, son. With that, everybody, make sure you go check out MG. Show him some love. You guys hit the like on the way out. Hit the like on the way in. We're gonna have a good time tomorrow morning, and it shouldn't go too long into tonight. But it'll be a good time. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace, y'all.